Hello Internet, 60x Self. Today we're going to play some more of The Uncle Who Works for Nintendo. Last time we didn't really get very far, but we learned a couple of things. I did anyway, and now we're going to jump in and do some more. Before we get too far along, our question of the day is, what's your favorite color? I feel like that's pretty simple, it's pretty basic, but everybody has a favorite color. My personal favorite color is pink. I'm very into pink. Pink everything. I also am fond of purple. Keeping that brief, I want to jump back in here and see if we can get these other endings. Let's go. Okay, so I think I know. We made some strides last time. I'm not sure what I saw. We started 7. No, he doesn't drink. Why not? Let's think about Michael's uncle. It began with Mew. He showed you. KO's enemies in one hit. No one else. The bird faded. Asked how he managed to get it. Oh, construction crew. Bad storm. Next to you at the time. Something nice about being neighbors. Oh. It is cool. Snap out of your reflections. And talk to him about games. So then we got to talk to him about games. You have a rather one-sided conversation about whether RPGs in the PlayStation are better than old SNES ones. An hour passes. Clock chimes and you are in the den. Okay, apparently I need to keep talking to him about games. Another one-sided conversation. Clock chimes, you are in the den. Okay, thank you. He'll be here around midnight. She's gone. So then I need to ask about the uncle's visit. Why is your uncle coming? But don't punch him. But I thought he worked for Nintendo. What does he have to do here? Not sure I believe you about your uncle. I don't believe your uncle works for Nintendo. Clench your teeth and wait. Take a moment to be dazed. Realize he's close to crying. Are you okay? Talk to Michael. Okay, here's the part where it gets different, I think. Do you think this storm will be as bad as the one we had before? You remember the storm? Asks Michael. Yeah, you say, nodding. But no one remembers the storm, he says. It was big. It took down the trees. That's impossible, Michael says. Impossible. No one remembers it. But I do. Michael shakes his head. No, you don't understand. Please, I'm not messing with you, but this is important. But this is different. Something's different. He said no one would remember the storm. Who? He came out of the storm. I was home alone, Michael begins, his eyes growing distant. Mom was at work. Dad was out at the bar. You had a brother, didn't you? You remember him too? Michael asks. He saw it first, the flash, from his bedroom window. Michael pauses, but I was the one who answered the door. We fought sometimes, says Michael, but I wonder sometimes, if he'd answered the door instead of me, would he have eventually done what I did? What I did to him? What are you talking about? We got in a fight, Michael explains. It was a fight over how I was getting all the cool stuff from my uncle. I think he was starting to remember, like you. What did you do? Michael won't look at you. I told my uncle to get rid of him, and he did. You're kidding, right? No, shouts Michael, shaking his head. It's not a joke. It's not a trick. He changes them. He's already changed them. What did he change? So many things, says Michael. I asked him to change so much, and I forget. Sometimes I forget how things were. I don't believe any of this. You don't have to, says Michael. He's already on his way. I'm going home. No, Michael says. You can't. He's already on his way. No. There it is. Like a voice. No, not something you hear exactly, but still somewhere in the back of your head. Michael heard it too. See? He asked. See? He's almost here. I'm calling my mom. Passing through the empty dining room, you enter the kitchen where the phone sits on the counter. You dial your mom's work number and wait. She picks up after 3 rings. I want to go home. Really, honey? She asks. Please, Mom, please. She sighs heavily. Of course, she says. I'll call the sitter. She'll probably be there in an hour. Now really, I have to go. She hangs up. You return to the den and pack your things. Michael is sitting silently on the floor as you come in. You're leaving, aren't you? He says. This joke you're playing is really mean. I should have known it was different, Michael mumbles. You were remembering too much. If your uncle's so powerful, why can't he just keep me here? Michael frowns. He gets weak. He can't do as much. Is that why things have been different? Is he weaker now? You begin packing your stuff. Please, says Michael, please don't go. I've never not fed him, and if I don't, I'm not sure what will happen. So you just want me to get eaten or whatever? No, please. No, it's not. I think he'll kill me, do you understand? He would have killed me if I didn't. You continue packing in silence. Why could you hear him? He asks, but it doesn't seem like he expects you to answer. You both lapse into an awkward silence. Eventually, a car honks outside. You get up to leave. Michael has wandered over to the fireplace and is looking into its unlit depths as you walk to the door and into the night. The sitter's familiar car is parked out front. As you walk closer, you see your little sister in the back seat, still in her pajamas. The sitter, a high school girl who lives down the street from you, looks incredibly unhappy to be here, but you think you'll be able to handle her. As you climb into the car, you cast one last look over your shoulder back to the house. The front door is closed. You suddenly can't remember if you did that yourself. The lights in the den are still burning. As the sitter pulls away from the house, you stare out the window at Michael's house. The lights blurred and magnified by the rain streaming down the glass. Eventually, it all slides out of view. You find out the next afternoon about the fire. It started in the den, say the papers, where there was known to be a fireplace. Apparently, it was left smoldering in the night. There were no survivors. Arson is suspected, since an accelerant would have helped the flames overcome the night's heavy rains, but nothing definitive is ever publicly released on this account. One day after school, you ride your bike by to check it out. Parts of the house still stand, walls and beams blackened by the flames. Yellow caution tape has been looped around the outside, and the rubble hasn't yet been totally cleared out by the city. You decide to investigate. The second floor has either mostly burned away or fallen through, but standing in what used to be the den, you look up to the hole that would have been Michael's room. The broken glass and charred drywall crunch beneath your feet. Until you step on something that isn't glass. You look down. There, in the mess, is what looks like a Game Boy. It's a Game Boy Color, not at all scuffed or damaged. In the back is a single cartridge, a copy of Pokemon Blue. You take Michael's Game Boy. Looking from side to side, as if anyone might actually be watching, you pick up the Game Boy and flick on the power switch. After clicking through the Pokemon intro screens, you find there is no saved game on the cart. It's like a brand new copy. You turn off the Game Boy and, stuffing it in your pocket, return home. Your mom is standing in the kitchen when you arrive, doing dishes, and your little sister is watching some annoying cartoon. Remember to take a bath and get dressed before 7, Mom calls. Remember? You're fairly certain she never told you to do that in the first place. You walk into the kitchen, dropping your backpack on the linoleum floor. Why do I need to do all that? Silly, she says. Your mom turns from the sink to smile at you, and your throat tightens when you see how glassy and empty her eyes are. Don't you remember? She asks. Your uncle is coming over for dinner to celebrate his new job. The uncle who works for Nintendo. Ooh. What's this? Do you want to continue? Oh, I can click this now. I want to get that. I don't know what that is, so we're going to get that other ending. I'm going to not get the Game Boy. Yeah, he agrees. I was alone. Alone all the time. When the storm started, I thought I'd run over to your house, but it was late, and then he knocked. Who? I answered the door when the knocking started. He said he was lost and hungry. He said he could help me. All I had to do was promise to feed him. Feed me. What is that? Michael tenses. What is that? It's my uncle, Michael says. Or that's what he told me to call him. I don't really know. I don't know what it is. What did he do? He changes things, says Michael. He said he could make things happen any way I wanted them to, that I would always be the best as long as I fed him. What did you have to feed him? Michael looks at you, his eyes watering. For a long time he doesn't say anything, and then suddenly you understand. I want to go home. I'm calling my mom. Things are really weird here. Go home, Mom, please. Yes, thank you. Turn to the den, pack your things. The joke you're playing is really mean. Going out in the night. Back to the house. Oh, slides out of view. There's the fire. Alright, now I'm not going to take the Game Boy, because obviously that went poorly last time. Decide to investigate. Crunch beneath your feet. Something that isn't glass. It's a Game Boy. You leave the Game Boy. You leave the ruined house and hop back on your bike, pedaling back home. Your mom doesn't have to work tonight, and since she knows you're taking recent events hard, she's promised to take you and your little sister to the movies. You don't think about Michael at all. The uncle who works for Nintendo. Alright, so then what is this? Alright. Repetition with a difference. It is not the time for running. Go where you're not wanted. Go where you've been told you can't go. Okay. Go where you're not wanted. Go where you can't. The kitchen? That happened. We now have both of the endings, but then there was those weird symbols popped up at the bottom, and I think we're going to save that for next time. I'm excited to figure out what that is. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. Hopefully you're enjoying this kind of narrative piece. I'm thinking I might try to find another point-and-click adventure game like this. I don't really know what else there is like this, like a text adventure game. Maybe I'll play something old school. Who doesn't like Zork? Of course, if you enjoyed what you were seeing, you should let me know it. You should find me all over the internet, and I can be found all over the internet. You can find me on YouTube, where you can thumbs up and subscribe and comment. You can find me on Tumblr, where you can heart and follow. Same thing on Twitter, heart and follow. And then finally, I'm on Facebook. You can like the post, you can like the page, and comment there as well. All of those links are in the description below. The best thing you can do for me, though, is share it with everybody you know. Tell your friends to come and watch. Tell your friends to come comment, interact, subscribe, follow. So reblog on Tumblr, retweet on Twitter, share the posts on Facebook. You can take the embed code from YouTube and plaster that all over the internet. Take the URL from YouTube, plaster that all over the internet. Get eyes watching. Finally, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a great year. I hope the second half of 2016 is phenomenal. I'll catch you guys later. Bye, Internet.